This is Tammy and Felix with Texas Rebel Promos Global. We're here today with Mikey and Bones from Mammoth. They are from Australia. Hey guys.
Hey, how are you guys?
Great, man. So tell us a little bit about this tour, guys, that y'all are going on. Y'all know y'all going to kick some fucking ass down there where y'all are going, because y'all's music is fucking badass. So tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the plan is that we're basically just going to go to Europe and destroy the joint, and it's about three weeks we'll be away for. So it's not not a massive tour in the scheme of things, but we're basically going to be playing every night and just burning venues down all through Germany, UK, Holland, Switzerland. Where else? Belgium,
and we'll be other places that haven't even been invented yet.
And we'll be touring with some crazy Swedes called the Quill.
The Quill. Yeah,
All
we just got off the freaking Skype with the Christian and Magnus, and like I said, guys, y'all are gonna fucking be melting some major fucking faces down there on this fucking tour. So tell us a little bit about. We read a lot of stuff about y'all, man. Tell us a little bit how y'all came together as a band.
Yeah, well, Mammoth had been around for a little while as a two-piece, a little two-piece project, which neither Mikey nor myself were involved in, but a couple of mates of ours. And it was really funny because around the time they were looking for a singer and a drummer, Mikey was in another band and his band was looking for a drummer. So Mikey and I were kind of almost hooking up to do this project. That fell through. And then the two original founders of Mammoth, who were Cuz and Gash, got Mikey in first, and then they got me in, and it kind of worked. And it worked really quickly. I mean, the guys had some stuff down, but within probably 2.5 months, we recorded our first EP. So things,
Awesome.
we felt that we did things all, pretty quickly together, especially drinking and getting thrown out of venues. So it worked well.
Fuck yeah.
This last video, man, that y'all did with, what's the name of the one y'all
Sitting Pretty.
Yeah, that's freaking pretty badass, man, I have to say. The choreographing behind that shit is fucking off the wall, man. How did that come about?
Basically, Cuz, our guitarist, he's just always wanted to do a clip with a goat in it. So, So he's basically, every time we're like, yeah, all right, let's come up with a new clip. What are we going to do? What should we do? And he's like, let's get a fucking goat. And so basically we're just like, all right, well, this time, let's get a fucking goat. All right, let's put it in the clip and I'll fall in love with it.
Well, that's what I was just fixing to say. The storyline was all wrong then, because Mike, you fell in love with the goat.
It's funny the way things happen. We just saw each other and it was true love.
Just hit it off.
It's
there
fucking
you go.
it's all about rock and roll anyway. The name fucking Mammoth, man, that's kind of off the wall. How'd y'all come up with the name Mammoth? Just spontaneous, or?
Yeah, no, look, I think it was all about, the guys wanted to have this band that had a big, heavy, fucking hairy, sweaty sound.
Yeah.
And they go, so what's big and hairy? And went, well, Mammoth's big and hairy. And they go, yeah, but it's not big enough. So what's bigger than a mammoth? Well, like, what if there was a mammoth?
Hell yeah.
Right.
It's as simple as that, because, big mammoth is kind of stupid, but mammoth, that's pretty funny. But, as a joke, this is a funny story, but as a joke, we were doing an interview with a European magazine or something, and Carl just as a joke said, we originally were called Pussy, right, which is completely untrue. And they took it as the truth, and there's a German Wikipedia page on us, which cites the band as being originally called Pussy, which is completely untrue. Because that's just
awesome, man.
That's too funny.
That's fucking funny. But, how would you describe your sound? If you yourself as, your band members of the ones that we're talking to right now, how would you describe it, If you could classify it. I say it's fucking badass, just straight up fucking in your goddamn face rock and roll metal, but how would you describe it?
Basically, we're kind of, we read reviews of our albums and all that kind of stuff, and people are always saying that it's it's a bit of stoner rock. It's a bit of punk. It's a bit of bit of glam rock. It's a bit of everything kind of thrown in together. But basically, I all those kind of different kind of terms for bands and music, and they just confuse the shit out of me. I just reckon we're just fucking straight up balls to the wall rock and roll.
Hell yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. I guess like what we talked about with the Quill. This is something out, man. I stress it out a lot because people on the other side of the thing, the fans, they all see the touring and all that as a big glamorous life. But fuck, man, it's hard. It's hard to tour. It costs fucking money. You're not sitting there in a fucking $1 million tour bus like the fucking Nickelback song says. With the fucking badass fancy guitars. It's fucking hard. So what I'm saying is to the fans and stuff, buy these guys merchandise and stuff. Go out and see their live shows and support them.
Hell yeah.
Because it costs money to make badass music. It really does.
Well, we can see if you come down to one of our shows, you'll have a good time because, one thing we really believe in is putting on a show. We don't just sit there playing our instruments, staring at our Chuck Taylors. People go away from seeing us going, yep, I just saw a fucking rock and roll show.
And basically, that's always been our thing. Like when we first started the band and we started, playing live shows. Basically, we just kind of made a pact that, because when we go see a show, we don't want to see people tuning their guitars in between each song and fucking around and just not, and doing fuck all. So we were just like, every show we play has got to melt faces, and people have got to see that we're really giving 120%. And
sometimes 130%.
Hell yeah.
Hey, yeah.
And basically, kind of, before every show, we just say to ourselves, if you're not bleeding, you're not rocking.
There you go. I have a question. I come across some information that y'all's first video clip was banned. I kind of read a little bit about that story,
we like
but
bad shit anyway. Like I said, we're probably going to be banned. That's why we're on the internet, because we like to say fuck. I like to say fucking shit. I like the real side of shit. All this stiff-shirted fucking choreographed shit sucks. That's what I say.
Fucking right.
Bullshit.
So our first clip that we made for I can't remember. Weapon of Mass Self-Destruction. That was banned. Yeah, pretty much everything we put it on, it was banned from. And so I think the only thing there may be a link still available on Vimeo maybe, and I think there's some on like RedTube and internet porn sites, but it's basically banned from everything else because it involved it was lots of porn and nuns and dildos, everything.
So the story with that one, it was our first clip, and what happened was a mate of ours came to us and said, I've got a great idea for a clip. I've got the European 70s porn collection, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it all together and superimpose your logo, the Mammoth logo, over any genitalia, being penises and vaginas, and any meeting of those genitalia, he would cover with our logo. We said, that sounds like an idea for a clip. So he cut it together and kind of said, well, here you go. So, it was it was awesome that, when we launched the EP, someone just, approached us and said, I'm going to make you a clip. Unfortunately, within the first 24 hours, it got banned. It also had close to 1 million hits.
That's what I was just fixing to say, that where I had read that it was too late. It done already had 1 million hits.
Yeah, so it's got. So anyway, look, it's a funny clip. We're not trying to really offend anybody, but it probably is offensive. But it was just for us. It was, someone just gave us a free clip, so we said, yeah. But every video clip after that, we've basically done ourselves. Just done like I said, Cuz did the last one, and Mikey and I were more involved in the Go video, and I think, Cuz did the first one at one of our favourite bars. So we do all that stuff ourselves. We like mucking around with film, and we like mucking around with ideas.
Yeah.
That's
so the
awesome.
one before that with the chick in it, the song that
in
has
the woods, huh? Is that the one you're talking about? She's in the woods.
And y'all are fucking cranking it out, man. That's badass.
Oh man.
Who came up with that idea for that video?
Basically, we kind of we all come up with it because it was basically kind of extension of the album cover. So it's the same girl off the cover, and it's actually shot in the exact same spot. So the photographer that shot our cover is also a director, and so he basically just wanted to go back to that same spot and shoot the girl off the cover, and then kind of shoot us in the mud and the woods, and playing in the middle of the forest.
If you can say, who is the lovely lady that's in the video? Go.
Well, we just call her Bush Girl. She lives out
Bush
there.
Girl is a good idea. That'll work. She's quite hot, to be honest with you. Fucking badass.
Sorry?
She's quite hot looking, I know that.
She's hot. She's hot looking. And what we liked about her was that, not with all due respect, we wanted someone who just looked of a different period, and like she didn't have any ink, and she wasn't all shaved down, and we kind of knew about her and stuff, and she was out that way. Now that area was where there were massive bushfires, like it really was a big disaster out there.
Oh wow!
And a lot of that area was cleared. It's called the Black Spur, and it's up in the mountains. We go out there a bit, but so that made the great location, and we kind of met her and did some drinking, and she said, "Yeah, I'll do the clip," and she was really cool chick.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, have y'all thought about doing a tour in the United States?
Yeah, definitely. We think about it all the time. It's basically it's on the cards. It's kind of Europe was kind of first for us. It was the first place we wanted to hit, and now we're really concentrating on trying to somehow get to over to the US.
Yeah. So the deal with the US would be this is kind of this is just where we're at the moment, but we're already starting to work on our next album.
That's what I was going to ask about. Yeah.
So what we want to do with that is launch it. We can't really say when, but it's got, we're hoping to do it within 2014. And what ideally we'd like to do, if Napalm Records agree, is we'd like to actually launch it in Europe and the US before we launch it in Australia. So if that works, hopefully we probably won't do as many shows as we've done on this tour. We might do maybe 6 or so shows in Europe and maybe 6 or shows in the US.
Yeah.
But try and do it that way. So, but look, that's the plan. Whether that kind of comes off, we don't know. But what we want to do, so just hop across the Atlantic and go that way.
And basically, it's kind of our next kind of thing is, I know that Napalm, the next time we go over, their plan is to try to get us on a bigger support. So tour through Europe with a much bigger band to try open up some more bigger audiences, and I think that would probably be our one of our plans for the US at some stage, is to try to get on a good support, and then we can kind of go to more places and hopefully get in front of more faces.
I'd like to see y'all, like I said, on Mayhem Tour for 2014. So whoever hears this, I know people always look at our stuff. We have another band that it was word of mouth from Australia, because we interviewed this band from America called Anti-Mortem, and they turned us on to a band called Ragdoll over there in Australia. And they did a little short tour over here. And is this other band from over there?
Elm Street. Have y'all heard of Elm Street? I believe they're from, I could be wrong, but I think they're from Australia also.
Yeah, not sure. I haven't heard of them.
Yeah.
No, look, we kind of stick pretty close to the local scene, although we don't consider ourselves a part of the local Melbourne scene. We sit outside it a bit. But I know a lot of the bands that we hang out with are pushing to do more in Europe and more in the US, but I haven't heard of those two bands. But it wouldn't surprise me. Australia is a very small country as far as population, and you can only do so much here without going mainstream. So it doesn't really support the subcultures or, anything that's not kind of flavour of the moment and mainstream radio friendly. Yeah. It's very difficult. So you've got to break out of Australia, after a couple of years, because like I think I said to someone, there's only 50 people in Australia and a bunch of snakes and dogs, and you get sick of playing that crew pretty fast. So that's why we always had a connection with Europe. We always had some interest in the US. So we're really focusing on that kind of thing. Not because we love Melbourne, we love Australia, but the market here is small and the market is fickle.
Yeah. And basically, we're kind of just basically playing less and less and less shows in Australia, and just basically just spending all our time on concentrating on getting overseas as much as we can.
Right.
Well, like I said, y'all come to the U.S., man. We can plug you from coast to coast because we got people all over to get the word out and everything, especially down in California.
We come to Texas. We're going to come to Texas.
Yes.
We want some Texas food.
Yeah.
There you go.
We got it, man. Like
some
I said,
alligator, some gumbo.
Crazy shit.
I
want the tail
in a burger. That's what I want. Alligator tail burger.
There you go. That's awesome.
America's hungry for rock and roll, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New stuff.
That's right. Well, it's funny because we kind of look at all our Facebook likes and America's kind of really up there on our kind of fan list. It's kind of America is we actually get more likes from America than we do in Europe.
Yeah. It's a bit, outside of Australia, it's Germany next, and then it's the US after Germany. So they're, that's and they're all, and there's almost more. There's more fans on our pages than there are from Germany and the US than there is from Australia. So that gives you an indication of why. What's awesome about the internet, and what's awesome about talking to guys like you who are into promoting, bands that are, like sit a bit left of centre. It's great to be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're here for, man. And I'm going to give you the same invite as I gave the Quill, Magnus, and them. Get somebody to shoot some live footage from your tour and download it, and we'll plug it from coast to coast in America. That way, when you get ready to tour, people can get a fucking taste of how y'all can kick and fucking melt faces down in a live show.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll be doing that, so that's going to be great. Yeah. So no, we're really excited about the tour. Like I said, it's we're going to go there and destroy Europe, or Europe's going to destroy us, because it is 17 shows, I think, in 17 straight days. We might have one day off, but it's a different city every night. So it's a short tour. It's a pretty intense tour. So we're going to have a lot of fun,
and especially the way that we play shows. It's not. It's going to be a hard slog just because we go so hard on stage. Doing that every night for 16 shows or whatever is it's going to be pretty brutal.
That'll work.
Yeah. Since we haven't interviewed you before, I have a couple questions that I usually ask. Some people might want to know. Bones, you play the drums. What kind of drums do you play? What kind of sticks do you use?
Okay. I play Pearl. I also like Ludwig as well, but I play a Pearl kit. I put this kit together. It's not like anything massively different, but I put this kit together especially for the sound we wanted for Mammoth originally. So
awesome.
I use double kick drums.
Yes.
I only use one mounted rack tom. It's a 14, and I use a 16 and sometimes an 18 floor tom. So everything's oversized. I use a Gretsch cherrywood snare, and I use Vic Firth sticks, usually rock or 3As.
Yeah.
I like Vic Firth because they've got a nice thick neck on them, they've got nice balance, and they're a good wood. So I don't know whether you noticed, but I don't play a ride cymbal at all. We've taken that tingy ride sound out, which people go to on choruses and shit. I don't go to that.
Yeah.
I just crash ride. So that chews up your sticks, and Vic Firth make sticks that last. So that's good for me. And
that's awesome.
Really. And I use a couple. I only use I just use two 18-inch crashes and a 19-inch crash ride, and keep it pretty simple and pared back.
Well, I seen you fucking beating on the drums and videos and shit. I bet you tear up a lot of fucking heads on your drums, man, when you're on tour. I would imagine. Fucking hit them hard, man.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I don't like getting all. I try to keep all the drums pretty flat, which means, you know, you tend to get a bit more life out of your heads. But I've just recently swapped to Aquarian, and they are tough motherfucking heads.
Awesome.
And they've been fantastic. They stay in tune, they're easy to tune, and they really last. So I went from Remo to Evans, and now I'm using Aquarian, and they're really good.
What did you say the name of the company was?
For the skins.
Aquarian.
You hear that, guys? If y'all are listening, give this fucking guy an endorsement, man. Give him Vic first. Give him fucking sticks. Because, you know, that helps guys like you out, man. And believe it or not, all them companies always are looking for other people to run endorsements. And we always stress that. Like Dean Guitars and stuff, you know, the different companies of the band, you know, that use instruments. Mics, the same thing. Whatever kind of mics, you know, we'll get to that in a minute. Fucking give them fucking endorsements, man. Help them out.
Yeah, the thing with gear is, it's not that I'm saying I think it's better than anything else. I just think that's the gear that suits what I'm doing right now. So, like, I mean, Remo make awesome skins. So do Evans. I love Evans skin, especially their bass drum heads, which I still use. But you've got to find the gear that suits what you're doing. And for me, it's Aquarian, it's Pearl and Ludwig and Gretsch, and it's right now it's Big Firth sticks. So that's what suits what I'm doing, you know. So I'm not, you know, they're awesome stuff, you know, just as good as anything else. It's the best gear is the gear that suits you best, you know.
Right.
So that's the way I see it.
Mikey, you're the vocalist. So what kind of mics do you use?
Whatever mics that they give me.
Mikey, what kind of mic do you use?
Are you easy to please, Mikey?
That sounded like a freaking plug or something. Mikey, what kind of mic do you use? Mikey, what kind of mic do you use? Any fucking thing that has sound out of it.
Whatever microphone that they put in my hand. And then usually I've got a bottle of something in the other hand. And
there you go.
And I usually the only thing that I ask for when we play is basically just give me a really long fucking lead so I can just go where I want.
There you go. That sounds good.
Mikey doesn't like being on stage. He likes being off the stage.
He likes to mingle with the people. Hey, well, that's how you get close and personal with the ladies, right?
Hell yeah.
Exactly. So so basically it's just kind of, you know, it's just there's never enough room on stage, so I like to kind of get off stage and get right in amongst it, and you know, just smash around with the kids up front.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
badass.
Yeah, we've played plenty of gigs where, you know, we've gone, especially with bigger crowds. You know, whether you know the band Airborne, we did a tour with Airborne.
Yeah.
And Mikey disappeared off, and there's a certain section of a song where we just keep going with the middle eight or something, and we're waiting for it to come back. We're going, fuck, we played this middle eight about 4 times. Where is he? And I think he'd fallen over and got the mic lead wrapped around his neck, and someone was standing on it, and he was going blue. Anyway, we eventually hauled him back on stage, but it can get pretty hairy out there, you know.
Yeah, we played a show in Sydney, and I jumped into the crowd, and it was just moshing like crazy up the front, and so I wrapped the microphone lead around my neck, and in a part where I stopped singing, and I got the whole kind of swell kind of pushed me over, and I was down on the floor just getting you know, crushed, and there was some people were grabbing the lead, and I don't think they knew what it was, and they were just pulling on this lead, and it was just tightening around my neck.
They were going, what's this thing?
Look, you can do like Jim Morrison did, stick it down his pants.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say, you shouldn't work heavy machinery without a hand there, and it's kind of like that situation when you jump out there.
Yeah, you know, like bands like fucking, you know, like the fucking Johnny Rotten and all them fucking people like that in punk, man. Fucking rock and roll, man. There's no fucking way to do it except fucking do it the way the fuck you want to,
just,
you know?
Right.
Tear the fucking shit up. Trash the motel rooms if you can afford it.
Burn the
fuck
city
it.
down.
You know, fuck it. That's what I say. And like I said, you know, what we talked about off the record about our getting this syndication show, it's going to be called Metal Madness Meltdown. And that's, you know what it's about? It's about the other fucking side of the way bands are. Like, y'all are getting to be yourself. Fuck all these people in these high-rise buildings and shit that are fucking record labels that don't know about what we're talking about. because people aren't interested in that
Oh,
shit.
you can't talk about that, and we don't want you to talk about this,
Yeah.
and we don't
We
want it to be raw.
I want you to be fucking rock and roll, man. I want you to fucking. When I go to a show, I want to see some fucking shit. You know, I don't want to see somebody standing up like fucking Justin Bieber, retard boy, that you want to slap the piss off the stage. You know, that son of a bitch, man. I wouldn't go fucking see him if I was fucking on LSD, man.
No,
You know what I'm saying? He's a fuck up. He's not even real, man. He's not even real. But bands like AC/DC and
so,
shit.
You know, you got to do whatever you do to, like we say. I mean, everyone does their own thing, but we think, people go to see a rock show, they deserve to come away going, I just saw a rock show and actually, go, yeah, fuck, that was good, that was cool. I got into that. So, and we enjoy that. We're not necessarily like that 24/7, but that's that 1 hour and 20 minutes when we go out there and fucking really enjoy ourselves and give everything, and we love that. And if people dig it, awesome.
And the longevity of these bands and stuff like Motley Crue still fucking melting faces.
Yep.
You got fucking AC/DC and all these bands, and you know what? They don't give a fuck. They really don't give a fuck if they piss people off.
Nope.
Because if rock and roll was about being a fucking goody two-shoe, wouldn't it be goddamn boring, man? We'd all be sitting around drinking fucking tea and eating fucking Oreos or some shit.
It'd be called country.
It'd be called country, that's right. Fucking country. It's fucking boring, man. But
we're not afraid to piss people off. There's a lot of few venues that we've kind of played that didn't really ever want us back because we kind of smashed the joint up so much. That'll probably happen in Europe a bit. But it's all just good fun. We just play the way we want to play, and if that means putting your head through a window, then that's what we do.
Yeah, and I won't name any names, but it's just like what we were talking about. How people try to change people. You got your own sound, and people are liking you, and then they get signed to certain places, and they're like, oh, well, that all sounds good, but that's not going to sell on mainstream radio. You need to change your name and cut your hair, fucking whatever. Well, if you do that, then you're a sellout. And, to have your artistic freedom of do what the fuck you want to do, bands that stay real and interact with their fans, like you said, are the ones that are going to be around, If you make yourself like the Wizard or something on the Wizard of Oz where you can't be seen, it's
like
it's
Mikey,
cool.
where they get down in the mosh pit with the rest of them. That's what it's about.
Dive in.
And we always like to have after the show we stick around, have a beer with whoever wants to have a beer with us, and we're doing it. That's what we're doing it for. We're doing it for the people who want to come and see us and love our music, and it's all about that.
We like our fans. We like having a beer with them afterwards, It's easy to have a beer with your fans afterwards when you've only got about 12 fans. No, we usually hang around, have a chat, and people want to talk. We go, that was awesome, whatever. We go, yeah. So that's all good fun, We like it.
That's awesome.
That's how we do it down here in Melbourne town.
Yeah.
Usually, some of our biggest fans are usually the emergency department in the local hospital.
So, man, y'all sound like y'all are pretty good friends off the fucking channel, and that's good, man, because, there's a lot of bands that can't get along and shit. Because when you're touring, man, you have to fucking, I'm not saying you fucking hang out all the time, but, you're fucking living in close quarters and shit. And I must say, I don't know the Ho Quill. I know the Quill has been around for a long time, but Magnus, like I said, I knew from a previous band and shit. So I say y'all are going to tear the fucking shit up down in Europe, man.
Yeah, they seem like great guys. So, look, and with their slightly different style to us, they've got a bit more blues stuff. We've got a bit more kind of hard punk rock there. I think it's going to work really well. We're all touring on a bus. It looks like a pretty nice bus, but it's going to be close quarters, so
it won't be nice by the time I'm finished with it.
It was nice when it started. Take pictures of it, because it's going to get trashed, I say. But like I said, guys, is there anybody I want to do a shout-out to? And I got another question, if you want to do any shout-outs. But if you could share the stage with anybody going on tour, of a big band, this is your opportunity. Who would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. Awesome question. We've often talked about, Queens of the Stone Age and stuff like that, and Monster Magnet, who happen to be on the same album as us. The same record label as us. But gosh, who would it be if you really wanted to? I used to really like Ministry. That'd be
Oh yeah.
God, I used to really like White Zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Rob Zombie's been taking a lot of people on. I don't know if he's going to do Mayhem Tour, but he took a lot of bands on this Mayhem Festival, this Rockstar Energy Mayhem Festival, and I'm going to do a shout-out because I know, like I said, I know people that know him, and I'm saying bands like Mammoth, and I told the Quill the same thing. That's our whole idea. It drives us to do this, is to be able to, get it up. Get it up to where it opens the doors where they say, you know what, these motherfuckers here, they're badass, so let's give them a tour on the second stage, because like Mayhem Festival had 2 stages plus the main stage going at the same time, which is badass.
I would love to get on something like that. I guess ultimately, we've all got kind of different, tastes. Just recently I saw Black Sabbath out here in Australia, and I thought pound for pound, they really delivered a great show and they sounded great. And I really loved watching Tommy Clufidis play drums. A lot of people said, it's not the same without Bill Ward. I thought Tommy Clufidis did a great job. He played with Rob Zombie for a long time.
Yeah.
If you could do a gig with Sabbath, it'd be fucking awesome, wouldn't it? So, I mean, there's so many, I don't think we have favourite bands, but,
even Motorhead, we'd kind of, I reckon we'd suit, love to be on the same, support a band like Motorhead or something like that would be great.
Yeah, we almost did their support when they came out to Australia a couple of years ago, actually. So, yeah, but we'd love to do all that kind of stuff. But this mayhem show sounds like it would suit us. So, we'd be up for anything like that in the US.
Well, like I said, guys, we'll be plugging for y'all over there, and you might want to get in. You might want to go on Facebook or see if Mayhem has a Rockstar Energy Mayhem website and start plugging it. Maybe give them some of your music to, send them links to your music and stuff. Because I know they're always looking. So as we speak right now, the tour ended about a month ago, or so. So they're already planning for next year, and it's quite big in the United States.
And they have, Amon Arameth?
Yeah.
It's going to be. They were one of the bands in Mayhem, and I know they're going to be playing in the Wacken Festival.
Yeah.
Next year.
How many cities does it go to?
Do what?
How many cities does the Mayhem tour go to?
Oh Lord, they tour all over the United States, everywhere.
Every big city, man.
Yeah.
Every big city in all the states.
Just about every state.
In Texas alone, they've hit like 3 major cities in Texas? Just Texas alone.
Well, Texas
3 major
has
cities
3
just in
major
Texas
cities
alone. And I was at the one in Houston, Texas, and I can't tell you how many people were there. As far as you can see, I'll tell you how big it was. Rob Zombie headlined it, and in the Houston show and the Dallas show, he shot the video for his first ever DVD. It's 25 years of Rob Zombie playing. He shot the film footage for his DVD video that's coming out. So that ought to tell you how big it is. It's quite a big show. And it also, too, it gives you a chance to interact with your fans. They have merchandise signing tents and stuff, so you get to actually, after you play the show with them on the stages, you actually get to hang out with the fans. It's really a fan interactive deal.
Yeah.
It really is.
Sounds good. Get us on it. We're there.
I sound like I'm selling them because, hell, I'd like to see y'all on it because it gets me back in the backstage.
Right.
Hopefully this time next year, though, we'll have our media pass
where we
can have all access to be able to go do some of the bigger bands and interview them there, too. Live stuff, too. So that's something to look out for.
Sounds good.
Well, guys, we got one more question. Want to know? I want to know, who are y'all's influences? Bones, you want to go first? Who's your influences?
Yeah, look, I grew up listening to my big brother. I go from when I was a kid. I listened to my big brother and big sister's record collection, so I was influenced by a lot of 70s hard rock.
Awesome.
Zeppelin, Sabbath, Steppenwolf,
Right.
Iron Butterfly, stuff like that when I was a real little kid.
Yeah.
I'm also influenced by a lot of kind of punk music as well. But I've always considered my influences, particularly as a kid. When I was a young teen and stuff, as just really being like hard rock and punk. And influences by a lot of those drummers, from that period as well. But, I played a fair bit of punk stuff before. I played a lot of different genres, but I've always said to myself, people go, you're pretty cool on the drums. I go, not really. But I can imitate a lot of styles, but what I am essentially is I'm a rock drummer. So,
hell yeah.
Most of my influences are from that kind of area. And I'd like to rattle off a lot of really obscure bands, but it wouldn't be the truth. So, there you go.
And you know what, guys? I used to, how I got started in promotionals, I used to be a / bodyguard event guy, the big guy that bounces people out of the back area. And I actually got to meet Stephen Wolf and be on the stage with them at a show, which was quite impressive. That was a band that played in Woodstock.
They're awesome.
And I can actually say I got to meet them and hang out with them. And that's awesome what you said about your influences, man, the 70s influences. It means a lot to the modern day music, man. It really does.
When y'all come to Texas, y'all want a bodyguard?
Yeah, you need a bodyguard, man.
We'll need one. Yeah, so that's my influences. There's a lot of it's really in that genre, and anything that's just I really am influenced by anything that's just that it's rock, it's straight up rock, but it's a little left of center as well. It's a little different. So that's what kind of inspires me in the stuff that I do.
Yeah, that's cool, man. But like I said, guys, we'll be wrapping it up in a little while, and then
Mikey, you gave your influences?
My
Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Jack Daniels.
There you go. Everybody's got to have a friend named Jack.
Yeah. I kind of grew up mainly listening to a lot of AC/DC and Kiss.
Yeah. It'd be like Lenny, a Motorhead. He takes his high blood pressure medicine and chases it down with fucking Jack Daniels, man. That's badass. That dude's indestructible, by the way. I would say.
Yeah, so I was kind of listened to a lot of that as a kid, and then and then I listened to a lot of metal as well. A lot of Maiden and Anthrax and all that kind of stuff, and then kind of more recently and then I kind of really got into a lot of stoner bands and doom bands and stuff like that. I've been listening to a lot lately, a lot of bands like the fucking Wrath and stuff like that. And but then I also I still listen to a lot of older stuff. I listen to a heap of Alice in Chains and all that kind of stuff a lot. And so it's all sorts of stuff, but it's mainly kind of it's always been heavy.
Well, that's awesome. So I guess, guys, we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, been good talking to you guys and meeting you on our laptop. It's been good.
Right. Don't forget, we're going to do that clip.
Yeah.